All right, guys, we are
now in session.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in again. And today we have my very special coach. She's my mindset coach, my business coach, and she's a coach in life. We are here today with Analise.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Analise.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
And real quick, before we go too deep into this, I want to thank everybody that has tuned in, like and subscribe and follow us. And also we want to thank our sponsor, California Health Collaborative. And anybody else that wants to become our sponsor, hit us up, DM us. All right? So now let's get into this. So,
don't forget, we want to thank all the followers, the listeners, the subscribers, to everybody here that's been supporting us from the very beginning since August. It's been a long journey, and you guys are still here. We're still here. We're trying to make a change. So, we thank you from the bottom of our heart that you're still listening to us. We're still live, so
we're still here.
We're still here. We're still here, like Jose Cruz said.
Shout out to Jose.
Shout out to him. But continue doing what you guys do. And if you guys feel like we should talk about a certain topic that you feel strongly about, passionate about, let us know, and we want to have these hard conversations so that way we could continue to heal and progress and move forward as a community, and unite within these goals for us. So thank you guys. Okay. All right, Charles, take it.
All right, guys. So when you guys see me, I'm not just here because I'm perfect on my own. I actually have somebody help me get to where I'm at. All right, guys. This perfection is still being worked on. And the person that's helping me is Analise.
It's not me?
Well, I mean, you helped bring me back down, so she got something to work on.
Oh, gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
We need to have something to discuss in our times together.
Exactly.
Sure. Yeah.
So I'm going to bring this to you, Analise. How hard is it to deal with a person like me?
Do we want the nice answer or the true answer?
The truth. We only do the truth around here.
Okay. Let's see. Charles, to be honest, it took me a long time because I felt like I could never quite put my finger on you. Like I couldn't quite figure you out because nothing bothers you. Literally nothing. Like you were never angry. I'm like, how was your week? Great. No problems. Nothing to complain. Everything's fine. There's never a problem. And so as a coach, when you don't have a problem, I go, what do we talk about this week? So it took us some time, but we finally got to some real life stuff that you're dealing with. And that's, I think, part of some of those conversations. I remember you coming to me and saying, I really want to do a podcast. And here you are.
Yeah.
Since last August. So I'm really proud of you for taking action and doing the things you really did want to do. So. Well,
I can't take the credit for all of that. I mean, Toby and Lucky has a little to do with it too,
A little, no. But yeah, for real. Like I was excited to, I think, finally get to the real Charles. Not that you're fake. It's not that you're fake.
Yeah.
You're just so easygoing that nothing really affects you deeply.
So how can you fix something that you don't know what's broken with
right.
So
you're practically perfect in every way.
That reminds me of a saying. How does a slave know it's a slave if it doesn't know it's a slave?
Ooh, mind.
Yeah, right. Just mind you right now, Charles. So how do you know if you need to be fixed? If you don't know that you need to be fixed?
Yeah, by having real friends around you to tell you that, hey, you're not all right.
I got you, Charles.
I agree. He's covered. He's covered.
That's what Toby and Lucky does. They go, hey, you might think you're perfect, but you're not. This is all the stuff that's wrong with you.
I have a list, actually. Hold on a second. Yeah, I think that's actually pretty true, is that you have people in your life who care enough about you to tell you the truth, and you're mature enough to hear the truth.
Right,
that is a huge requirement to personal growth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you tell us a little bit more about what is it that you do and who you are?
Okay. Well, that's a big question. I'm Analise. I coach real estate agents. I consider myself a performance and mindset coach. That's evolved over the years. I started out doing a lot of just accountability work and working with admin people, teaching skills. and kind of morphed into, in fact, your team leaders, Cam and Darren, said, can you coach our buyer agents? And I'm like, never done that before, but I'm gonna give it a shot. And I think it's morphed from simple check-ins to actually there's something to this. And I think that's now more my forte, is working with people on getting through. Everyone I work with is an entrepreneur to start with. And I think that is one of the biggest challenges. If you're working for yourself, there's no guarantee to get paid.
Yes.
How are you going to pay the bills next month? You have to count on you. And so it's challenging. And not everybody can do it successfully, unfortunately. But I love getting to the heart of what's going on with you, because I think what's happening with you in your regular real world, at home, with your relationships, absolutely 100% affects how you show up at work.
Yep.
So we get into that. And it's not traditional. What's your numbers? Report your volume. Tell me how much, what are your goals? We do talk about a lot of that stuff, and we do talk about skills. I do teach a lot of skill sets, but for the most part, the question is, how is work?
How's your mind today?
Work? What's bugging you? Because that's where the hurdles lie.
So when do you feel like this was your calling? Like, because you weren't always doing mindset coach or stuff like
That's a great question. Before that, I worked for a really successful real estate agent for 4 years. And I think that I know for a fact that person changed my life. The investment they gave me in mindset training. Because before that, I had, not a very great, I wasn't very successful. I was a successful mother. But as far as anything else, I kind of made fun of people when they were talking about affirmations. Whatever.
Affirmation?
Oh, gotcha, I was all, whatever, okay. And I would roll my eyes. But when the rubber meets the road and you aren't getting anywhere, you really do have to say, well, what is it? And most of it, I would say for me, most of it's been mindset. So when did that change for me? Probably in 2015.
What happened in 2015?
I got a new job in real estate.
Okay.
And I started working for someone who believed in me and was like, I believe in you. You need to believe in you. Right, and that shifted my whole life, completely changed my life.
So you just talked about affirmation earlier.
Yeah.
And you made fun of people for it.
I did.
So do you have an affirmation that you work on right now?
Oh, yes. Charles?
So what is affirmation for the audience that don't know what affirmation
that's
is?
That's a great question. I think, and it's something that I personally do practice, but it's not for everyone. I will say that. For me, it's building up what I know to be actually true. So some people, we can tell ourselves a lot of things, and most of the we tell ourselves is not the truth.
You said
No.
Beep. Are we going to get bleeped?
No, we don't bleep that.
No bleep.
We only get.
Sorry, you guys. I have a lot of. I'm trying to hold it back. Okay.
Oh, no, don't perfect.
Perfect. I try to do a little better. But yeah, some people think affirmations are cheesy, much like how I used to feel. Like it's just hokey pokey. Why are you telling yourself something that's not true? Well, the way I like to present it is, let's actually say the things that are true about me. Right? I'm good enough. I'm worthy. I deserve love. I deserve affection. I can be successful. You don't have to say I am in affirmations. Affirmations are basically saying something that is going to help you live up to what your true potential might be. Some people say I am the most successful entrepreneur in Fresno. If that makes you feel like it, then say it. If changing the word a little bit, I can be the most successful real estate agent in Fresno, then say that. It's having what comes out of your mouth be received by your brain, and your brain can process and actually hear it. It does so much better. The other thing you can do is write them down. There's studies proven that writing things down actually solidifies things a lot more in your brain.
You're manifesting it, right?
Yes. Yep. So I do write down my affirmations.
You do the 3-6-9 method?
I don't know the 3-6-9.
Oh, the 3-6-9 method? Maybe this.
Maybe you need to teach
what
me
it is.
something today.
But no, you're pretty much saying, manifesting it, bringing it into the reality, and then
it also is a confidence builder.
Right.
Because when you're not feeling it, I think it's important to remind yourself, hey, I'm good at what I do. I'm really smart. I can do hard things. I actually do hard things. I have done hard things. So I can achieve big things. I think it's when you're feeling low, affirmations are actually, I think, a good practice. And again, it's not for everyone, but, and I have found that a lot of people really are like very insecure about it. And I'm like, nobody's judging you. Do it in your car when you're driving to work.
I do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Everybody
But
does
people
it.
feel funny. People have a thing about it. So I try to get people to get over that a little bit. But when you're alone, do it in the shower. Do it when you're fixing your hair. Right? Or when you're getting dressed in the morning, before you go to bed. It doesn't matter when you do it. But I think the biggest time to actually do it is when you're not feeling like doing it. So yeah.
You got to force yourself to kind of do it.
I mean, there's a lot of things you can do, but affirmations, I think, do help. It's not the cure for a bad day.
Well, I mean,
but
people,
it can help.
I think everybody does it. It's just that they don't realize it, because when you go, oh, I can't do this. I can't do 100 push-ups. I can't run a whole mile without not stopping. So, I mean, there are affirmations. There's the negative affirmations. So you tell yourself that you can't do something. It's an affirmation, but
It will be
it's not-
true.
Yeah, and it will be true. So we
Then
just
you'll
got to
make it
practice
true.
on doing the positive ones.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you guys have heard of Andy Frisella, and he does a 75 hard challenge. Have you heard of that?
I heard of
Some people
75
might
hard.
have heard of it. For myself, there's a lot of things that for years I told myself I couldn't do. And so when I started working on mindset stuff, I really started focusing on mental toughness and grit. And I think I'm a gritty person. I do think I've built resilience, but I wanted to prove it to myself even more. So 75 hard is a physical, but it's really a mindset challenge of 75 days. You exercise twice a day. You drink like a gallon of water a day. You read, you do like all this stuff, right? And you have to check in on social media every day. So I've done 75 hard. 2 times I did it and I modified it. So I'm like, I think I can do it, but what if I can't? So I did like half the program. Like I did it 75 days, but I didn't exercise twice a day. I finally did it twice and I thought, what is stopping me from doing it? The whole thing. Let's do this. So I did it. That was I finished in August of 2021. And I felt like nothing will defeat me.
Nice.
Nothing will defeat me.
Nice.
And then my life fell apart right after that. 2 weeks later.
So
After you said that? I see.
And the universe said, "Oh, really? Can you do
We're gonna
anything?"
see how strong. We're gonna see how strong you are.
For real.
All right. Here's another challenge for you to
Yeah.
overcome.
Let's see. Let's
Yeah.
kick you in the teeth and see what happens.
it's like,
But that's the reality.
That is
You
reality.
know, because the universe is really testing. Like, oh, you gotten to this level now that you're so strong now. Now we're gonna throw you something else that we want you to get even stronger.
Yeah.
yes.
You know, and so these
Yes.
obstacles that we face after we overcome many obstacles, you know, prepare you for what's to come later on and whatever that is. You know, in everyone's
Absolutely.
journey.
And we want to think that,
Yes.
well, bad stuff isn't going to happen. There's books written, why do bad things happen to good people? Like, you know,
Yeah.
people don't expect bad things, but I'm like, oh, no, I don't think that anymore. I expect bad things will happen, guaranteed.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. It's how am I going to respond?
Yes.
And where is my resilience level
Yes.
to be able to get through it? So, yeah.
Because I was going to say, it's hard to teach people mindset toughness if you don't have example of what you went through. But you went through something now. So how hard is it while you're going through your life and you're trying to come in and coach your clients on how to continue to be positive in their mindset and do the right things while your life is upside down?
I don't have a good answer to that. I don't know, but the only thing that I have kind of attributed that to is I heard you say before on your podcast that you felt confident. You, famous you. Okay. You said confidence, you get confidence from your past failures and your past challenges.
Right,
And I think that's the only way I really survived was going, I've been through difficult things. Now this recent stuff was more than I could have ever imagined or handled, and I'll tell you that what happened, but I didn't have a choice but to survive.
Yes.
I could have gone a lot of different ways. I could have taken some bad turns. But I chose, and I think I knew I needed help to survive this. I needed services. I had needed mental health services. I needed support in my community, which I did have, thank God. I think it was just a commitment, because I don't know that people realize this, but I think I needed my clients as much as they needed me during that time to keep me afloat, to keep me moving.
To stay at that vibrational level instead of going down.
And I don't know how I did it, because I did go down. I went all the way down underground, but I came back up momentarily here and there to reach my clients.
There's a universal law of rhythm, and it states that everything in this universe operates on rhythm. So you have an up, you're going to have a down. It's always going to be cyclical. I think that's the word. And so it'll always come back around. And so you could be high up in the sky, and the next thing you know, boom, you're right down on the ground, and you got to find your way back up again. But it will come back. It's just time is really what kind of keeps us from getting to where we need to get to, because the lesson is there. We need to learn something.
And you can't, I don't know that you should ever expect to be on the highest highs without getting to the lowest lows.
Yeah.
Right.
I really believe that, because that is what develops you if you let it.
Yep.
If you let it. Because you can choose to not. We can drink ourselves away.
Yeah.
We can do a lot of things. We can go out, we can have sex with a million people and try to like fill a void, or there's a million things people might do. But I think looking inward, getting healing, taking time to do that stuff, to actually do that hard work of healing, does get you actually so much further than your average Joe. Because we all know people who are unhealed, right? We certainly do. And it's kind of obvious. And we don't know, why can't they just, right? I have things people aren't sure, like, why can't she just lose weight? She's tried. I promise. She's still trying. It's a challenge I'm trying to meet all of the time. It's not that I'm not working on it, but some people aren't, like, and it's different things, right? And I'm not saying I'm body positive. I'm not saying that I have to lose weight. I feel better at a lower weight, right? But I know there's judgment out there. So in general, my point is, it's always here first.
Yes.
Always here. If stuff comes crashing down, back home I come. Because I got to live with me.
Yep.
Right? So
when you're going through this tough time, did you ever got a chance to like sat down and go, you know what, Analise, coach Analise? You ever went out and coach yourself?
Charles.
You look in the mirror and talk to yourself?
I haven't done that, but I have started to do that recently. And that's so funny that you bring it up. Because there's some things that I have wanted to do, and they've been on the to-do list now for 2.5 years. Why haven't I done anything? So I have actually started to coach myself and say, if I were me, and here's my reasons and my problems, what would I, Analise, say to that other Analise? And I think I would be a little harder on her, to be honest. And that's new. I got to say, I went through some trauma, and I've given myself a lot of grace. Because that's okay, right? But there also comes a time where, all right, it's time to get up now. We can do this. So that's recent for me, and I like that you asked that question, because I can be very black and white. You and I talked about this. Charles lives in the gray. I live typically black and white. I've had to learn to live.
We need to gang up on Charles.
We do. He's so hard for me sometimes. But I've had to learn to live in the unknown gray, and it's very challenging for me. So
I don't like living in that unknown gray with Charles.
Well,
I like having choices, and I like making decisions, Char.
Dude, I make all the decisions. Sometimes I make 3 decisions on one topic.
You do. Well, you make decisions so opposite of me. I need all of the facts.
Yep.
Let me give 3 days of research to this, and you're like, done, go.
We're efficient, Charles. That's the word. We're efficient.
I see where it holds me back, though. See, if I'm coaching you, I go, you're slow. Actually, he's fast. You guys are good for each other.
Man.
Yeah.
Bro.
I make my decision quick.
Yeah, you do. And it's good for people in your life who are more analytical. You help us take action, right? You help us to move things along a lot further. We don't get paralysis when we're around you.
Yeah.
But, and
what?
Sometimes you skip the details.
Oh, yeah, I
You
skip
cut
the detail
corners.
a lot.
And does that ever bite you in the butt?
All the time.
All the time, Charles. All the time. This is marriage counseling now.
This is.
So failures.
Let's say
is
more.
The roadway to success. That's why I'm like, you know what? It's okay. Let's fail.
What do you mean?
Oh, he's excited to fail.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I'm like, you know what? I don't care.
But here's what I'm going to challenge you with, Charles, because
is
you
it?
do say that a lot. I'm okay to fail. okay to fail. We're going to coach real quick, okay? Sidebar.
wow.
All right, guys. You guys
Yeah,
gonna see
you
it
say
live.
All right,
that.
yeah.
You
I'm going to
say
speak
this
to
a
that,
lot.
okay?
Yeah.
Charles, don't use failure as a cop-out either.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Damn it.
Because you're so okay with it, then everyone expects you to fail because you're like, I'm fine with it. It's fine.
We got the sword. Nah, man, I forgot the sword. Why are we coming down this path? You know, and so that's just me. As far as I want to be prepared for whatever obstacle. It doesn't matter what it is. Even if we don't need the sword,
Yeah.
I want to be prepared.
Now let's coach you. Why do you think that is?
Yes. Free coaching time.
The sword.
His face just now. He gave
Oh,
me
it's
the-
always. It's
No. Why do you feel you need to be prepared?
Why do I feel like I need to be
We're
prepared?
down this path. I need a sword. What if?
Well, usually you want to be able to encompass everything, right? Like whatever life throws at you, unexpected stuff that could happen, might not happen. So rather be prepared for something that can happen would be better than not prepared for something that does happen and then you're not ready for it.
So let me guess that you're slow to make decisions.
Oh no, I make decisions quick.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you get to that?
Through experience and failure. And so what you do is when you go through life, you learn not to make that same mistake again.
Sure.
So when you go through and say, hey, you know what, this iron is hot, I'm not going to touch it. Now you know for sure you have knowledge in that experience already to help you make better decisions to evolve from where you're at.
Do you feel that from your experiences, it's made you be resilient?
Oh yeah, definitely. Resilient.
What does it mean to you?
Resilient meaning whatever comes, whether it's heartache, whether it's depression or any feelings that you get, you're able to bounce off of that and say, you know what, that's okay. You know, it's happened. It's part of life. You have to deal with it, feel it, but still move on from it. That doesn't mean to not feel whatever it is, sadness, anger, grief. I mean, you could be angry, of course, but
Sure.
but you still have to move on because the world doesn't stand still. The world still moves on, and you have to continue moving along with it.
What about catastrophic events?
Like what?
Death, something like you lose something major.
So for me, if you understand life, right? See, death to me is a transition from this world to the next.
Yeah.
So if you accept death, then that means you could accept anything that happens to you within this world because you understand that death isn't the end, but it's the doorway to another
Speaking my
dimension.
language.
You know, so
Absolutely.
that's how I deal with stuff. And so when I come across obstacles and challenges, I know it's a part of life. And so you have to make that decision quick, depending on the urgency of the situation. Sometimes, you know, like Charles said, you know, like maybe it's not urgent, but you have to know in your mind and your heart that that decision you're making, could it be urgent? Could it not be urgent? Can it wait? Can it not wait? You have to prioritize, you know, so when you're going through any heartaches and stuff, you know, like deal with it and move forward.
I think you have developed a skill to be very, I guess the word that's going to is like nimble. Like you're quick on your feet.
Adaptable.
Probably, yeah.
Adaptable.
You're adaptable.
Yeah. I know that about myself as far as me adapting to certain situations because I do observe, I do watch, and I do, you know, absorb the information, and then I kind of like, okay, yeah, this is what I could do, what I can't do. So
Why are you laughing?
No, I'm just thinking because this, like, sometimes Toby does get frustrated with me because, like, you know how, like, I make decisions and without knowing all the details. Let's just say we're going to on a field trip, and I say, okay, we're gonna go and we're gonna stay here, and like I don't have the details, but we're just gonna go and do it. And Toby asked me for the details, and I don't have it, and I say, yeah, I think this is what's gonna happen. And the source, trust me, bro.
Just trust it's going to work.
just trust me, it's going to work out. All right, bro.
And then we go, and it doesn't work out. And he'd be like, man, never again. Never going to listen to him again.
But you see, as a leader, right?
Yeah.
As a leader, you got to be able to take control and responsibility for the party that you are leading.
Yep.
So if you're leading your band of pirates or whatever it is down this path, all those lives are in your hand.
Yes.
So that means you are responsible for their family, their livelihood, their kids, or whatever it is. If you are the CEO of a company, all of those people that work for you, if you make a bad decision,
Yes.
they're out of a job. So you got to understand, as a leader, you don't get thank you for leading. You don't get,
Right.
you know, like, hey, you know, like, you made my day. Or you don't
Yes.
get all of that. All that burden goes onto you.
Yep.
You
And we
know,
talked
so-
about this before, where I told you I don't want to be a leader. That's
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, don't tell me that.
I don't want to be a
Because
leader.
I'm not.
But you are a leader. You
Yeah.
are a leader
But
in
you
your
are
own
whether
right.
you like
Yeah.
to be one or not.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't choose to be a leader. A lot of time people ask me to make the decision and make the plans, and I hate it. I hate it so
It's
much.
because you don't like being decisive.
Yeah.
You don't want to do anything wrong.
But I thought you said he was decisive.
I am.
well, no.
On-
Did I say that?
Yeah.
I make
Decisive.
decisions
You make
quick.
decisions quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Decisive and making quick decisions different. Because I make quick decisions without all information.
You don't. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
He just does it
I just
to
make
get to get out of it.
You have to get out of
To
it.
get out of
Exactly.
it. That's
To
the-
get out of the
that's-
responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you go, what you want to eat? I said pizza. And if you said, oh, no, I don't want pizza, then you make the decision. I already made the decision. So, like, I don't want to go back and forth on
But I think what it is right, as a father, as
Mm-hmm.
a leader of the household or whatever, your wife, your son, your daughter is coming to you for answers.
Mm-hmm.
And if you kind of be like, hey, you know what, go figure this out on your own without teaching them, right, to kind of lead them, hey, I would do it like this. Because now you're kind of telling the next generation to kind of be like, hey, you know what, this is how I would do it.
Yeah.
And be efficient.
Well,
And
I
teach
mean,
them how to make good decisions.
Exactly.
Or like ask them.
well, to
you
be
know,
fair,
what do you think
to be
is-
fair to me,
Okay, be fair
Hey,
to
this
yourself.
is my therapy session right now, okay?
to be fair to me,
Don't interrupt.
why you two are shitting on me
Because it's fun.
on important things,
Okay, tell
I
us,
do
tell
take
us.
some time to think and
You do.
put some thoughts to it. But then a lot of time to me, there's very little things in my life or the way I see life. There's not many things that could make or break me or really affect somebody's life to the point where we can't fix it. So certain things, like you said, if we're going to battle, and I would take my time to strategize and know as much as I can before going in.
Strategize, yeah.
Yeah, so like when I'm going to business with Heather and we're putting a lot of our money into doing an investment, I mean, yes, I'm quick to make a decision, like, yes, let's do it. But then at the same time, I look at the numbers, and with the experience of, you know, what we have, it helps me make that decision quicker. But at the same time, with things that I feel like is not super important, I'm like, hey, I'll make the decision. And if you guys don't like it, you guys make the decision. And I make the decision and hoping that somebody would say, no, I'll take lead on it. Okay, cool. So like, you know, when we go into vacation, going to, say, Vegas, and you guys go, hey, Charles, you do this, you know, you plan it out for the day. And I say, okay, we got to stay here, stay here. And then you guys say, hey, I don't want to stay over here. We don't want to go to Vegas. We want to go to LA. Well, great. Take on the lead.
Yeah.
Like, I'll just
Have fun.
follow. Yeah, I'll just follow along. I like to just go with the flow versus
You're a
being.
peacemaker, Charles.
Yes.
And so because you have that peacemaker ability, you bring people together, you're glue between people,
Yeah.
right? You also there's two sides to that coin.
Yes.
That is, you don't want to hurt or offend anyone either. You don't want to create
You offend me all
drama.
the time.
Well, aside from you, all right, you're always
I'd be
trying to make
exception.
everybody okay. And so I think that's a strength that you bring for sure. And
And
so go ahead.
And a lot of time, things do just work out for me.
They
Just
do. They
a lot.
do.
More often than not.
And I think there's a good lesson in all of
yes.
it, in that for all of us.
So, like, I mean, there's time where I would just go to places and he'd be like, you sure you're on the list and this and that? I'm like, I don't know, but I'm going to go. I'm just I belong. So I'll just go,
belong.
and then people just, you know, assume that I belong. So, yes, maybe I just got so spoiled of life just giving me the way I want, and it's so easy for me
love it.
that I just like, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and trust life.
I think it's about mindset too. You expect good things to happen, and they do.
Yeah.
Can we get back to my therapy session now?
Yes,
'Cause,
okay.
you know, this is,
All right.
All right. Let's break this down,
Let's
Toby.
bring it on down. Toby, do you want to lay down on the couch? You put your feet up here.
put my feet
Just
up.
relax. Listen, take a deep breath. Everything's okay.
Well, let's get back to how did I do in that
You did great.
that
Session.
validation? I need validation.
Do you need validation?
No, not really.
Wait.
But
Do you?
no,
Listen, everybody does.
the only validation I need really is for myself, because you have to trust yourself.
You do.
You have to trust yourself. You have to know that your happiness come first before you can make somebody else happy. Yeah, that's selfish and all, but it's like the cup being full, right?
Yes.
Before you could pour into someone else's cup, you have to be able to fill your cup first. So if you're half and half, you're never going to be full and complete or live a fulfilling life. So
I don't know that I would say happiness. Your happiness comes first because
Yes.
that's not guaranteed. But I do think that you should take care of yourself first.
yes,
Just like on an airplane.
yes.
Put your mask on first. Take care of your little one or the other person. Because happiness is never guaranteed. And you're not always going to be happy. You can choose happiness. I do believe that. Because there's times when people are just in a funk and it's like, you know what?
Well, let's get into that. How come you believe that that happiness is
A choice.
is not
Guaranteed.
guaranteed? Yeah, can somebody be at peace and be happy?
I believe so. I think that's really what happiness is.
Yeah, I think so.
I think,
I think you're at
happiness
peace with
is
yourself.
peace.
Yeah, right.
Because not everybody's at peace with themselves.
They have to heal
People are
first.
warring inside
Yes,
themselves.
yes, 100%.
Yeah.
You know, unless you heal and accept that shadow side of you, right? That
I agree.
the part of you that society kind of ostracize and say, hey, you know what, you shouldn't do this or that, and you kind of go into a bubble, but that's still a part of you. That's the shadow side of you that you should accept too.
And how does one come to acceptance of that?
Face looking in the mirror and saying, hey, this is me, this is fine, I'm okay with it, and accepting that you don't need somebody else.
Where is the tissue? Where's the Kleenex?
You need tissue, bro?
No, listen, the reason, let's go, I'm going to tell you a bit of my story.
Yeah.
The reason I ask you that, because maybe people are in denial of that for some reasons unknown, right? We all deny parts of ourselves that we do not like, right? So I go through the 75 hard program. I finish. I'm a rock star. Nothing can hurt me. Okay. That was on August 7th, I think. No. Was it August? I don't remember. Anyway, October. So then let's fast forward a little bit. October comes. I think October 7th. I misspoke. Anyway, October 15th. We go to the horse races that day.
Yes.
Remember that? Mm-hmm. I'd never been to the horse races before. These guys take me. It was a fun day. I come back.
Did you win?
No, I
No,
didn't
you
bet
didn't
any
win?
money.
What?
I don't like
That's
betting.
the part of the experience.
I know, but I like to keep my money.
I don't want to throw it away.
Winning is fun, but most of the time you lose.
Yeah.
So anyway, fast forward. That night, my husband was discovered, not disclosed, that he was gay.
I'm sorry, what?
So we've
Say
been
that
married.
again?
Yeah. So
Yes, go ahead. Please repeat it.
okay, well, I've been married 26 years at
Right.
this moment. This is 2021, October. And like I said, it was not disclosed to me. It was discovered that he is gay. Now,
This is like a movie.
let that sit in for a
Okay,
minute.
yeah, I'll let it
okay?
sink real
Let that
quick, 'cause
sit
Because I have a
in.
lot of questions, but I'm going to let you
You're
finish.
gonna have some questions. So when this happened, we're sitting on living room couches, and the thought came over into me: my life as I know it is over. It's over, and it was like the world came crashing. Over a series of couple of days, more things came out, and yes, I'm gay, and we're getting a divorce. We're done.
Wow.
4 weeks later, my brother was killed in a car accident.
Oh, wow.
Totally random. He's got, at the time, an 8-year-old daughter, a 16-year-old daughter, and a wife. And I
That's
stopped.
devastating.
My brain just was like, goodbye. I couldn't.
Couldn't function. Right.
It was too much loss. It's compounded grief when you have multiple things like this, right? It took me out all the way, but I will say somehow. So I did take a couple weeks off when my husband came along. I think I took a couple weeks off, just because my brain could not process how this could be. Talk about shadow side not being looked at. Okay. Not that it's a shadow, but it was something that he was not willing to look at or accept.
Yeah.
Until recently. Right?
Until recently.
Right.
So it took me out. But my brother died on a Friday, And I was back on coaching calls on Thursday, the next. I was
The
back
following
doing
week?
coaching.
Following week.
Oh, wow.
How did I do that? I just remember thinking, I had a new sense, speaking of death, I had a new understanding of death. I'd never had anybody close to me die. Grandmas and stuff when I was a kid, and I was sad, but never like this, where I felt suddenly the world has gotten so much bigger. There's so much I do not know, and the universe suddenly is open. And I have a lot of theories, like I need it to make sense. And I just kind of said to myself, I got to tap in to that bigger energy.
Yes.
And get this stuff done. I wasn't great. Let me just say, I don't know how I did it. I'm sure if I go back and ask my clients, they're like, it was a hot mess. Okay, but you did it. Somehow though, I did support my people. And at that time, I think I had about 25 clients weekly that I would be on Zoom calls and stuff. At the time, we're still doing Zoom.
Yeah.
I don't know. You might have feedback, but it was a tough time. And I wasn't perfect. I lost a lot of clients because I couldn't perform. So that also affected me. I lost a lot of income. All of a sudden, I lost 80% of my income.
Wow.
And now I'm on my own. Shit went down. It was a lot to handle. But I'm proud to say that I'm sitting here happy and at peace with you today.
Nice.
And it's been a year and 7 months.
They usually say, I come more from like the spiritual background. They say through a spiritual awakening, right, you go into a depression.
Yeah.
Right, you kind of lose your sense of yourself, and a lot of time it's caused by trauma.
Yes.
Like death in the family, something sudden that's happening to kind of break you out of it, and you kind of go into this like spiral, right? And then once you hit rock bottom, that's when you question yourself, what more is there to life? What purpose do I have here?
Yes.
And so when you start finding answers for your purpose and what you have to do, and it sounds like you had a purpose to help other people, and it sounds like that's what kind of kept you from going all the way down. That's what I believe.
It did. My people kept me alive.
Yeah.
I believe that for sure. My family and my friends. And I did have a suicidal episode that I had to be on suicide watch for a week. It was actually last May on my birthday.
Yeah.
A year ago. So I'm like, man, I've come a long way since then.
Your birthday was in May?
My birthday's May 2nd.
May 2nd.
Yeah.
Oh, just recent.
I just turned 48.
Yes.
Happy
everybody.
belated birthday.
Thank you. So it's been a lot. It's been a lot, but I feel like I have huge muscles inside. Somehow
Nice.
I've done the work. Though. I got into therapy right away. I did need medication. I needed it right away. I'm tapering off of it now, but through the support of friends and family, people like Charles, just how are you means everything. Like it's just someone caring enough. So I'm sure you have questions too.
No, being a life coach, right? Like you come across many different personalities, many different people in different phases, levels of their life. Some heal, some unheal. How do you deal with the trauma that your client has? And sometimes they don't believe in themselves, right? Sometimes they doubt themselves a lot. Sometimes they have a lot of mental blockage, right, to keep them from progressing forward. So how do you get them out of that funk?
Well, I'm not a therapist. I would love to be one. I don't want to go to school for them. So I'm not a therapist and I don't pretend to be one. I just know that I have had a life of hardships, and just like you have said, that my biggest prayer of all time has been to be wise. And I think the only way to be wise is to have stuff to get through to make you wiser. And I'm like, why did I pray that prayer? I don't know. Okay, I'm really wise. Okay, enough. But I think a lot of times I do recommend therapy. I mean, if it gets to that place, I'm like, you probably need to consider therapy. Not everybody's open to therapy, and that's fine. And so I do what I can as a coach now. I am a real estate performance coach. at heart, right? All the people I work with are realtors, but I do have another client who is an architect. And, you know, I help with a lot of the mindset challenges that come along. Trauma is a part of most people's stuff, right? Yeah. And so getting through that, and then, but the self-awareness on their part, most of the people I work with, like I said, I do cross them a little bit to see how the reactions are, which can show trauma. Right?
Do I have trauma? Do I have
no,
trauma?
I don't know if you have trauma. You don't have a bad reaction. I didn't cross you. I didn't say anything. I don't know
so
you.
Who
Wait a minute. No.
Who's gonna be a tougher client? Me or Toby? Someone that's feels like he's set, like he knows what he wants, and like, you know, he's self-coached, and where I'm just like everything's perfect already.
No, butterflies and rainbows, Charles.
Yeah.
Who's the tougher client for me? Probably you.
Really?
Because I know he's wrong.
Oh. And
okay.
And here's why.
No, I do believe you have a very. I've listened to your podcast. You're very smart, and you are very self-aware, and that you would be an ideal client for me.
Really?
Your self-awareness, the way you speak of things, the reason you guys have this podcast, you want to leave a legacy.
Right. Right.
That is like you're speaking music to my ears.
Right.
You're teachable. Now, you might have some parts of ego that come into play, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Who doesn't?
Right.
Who doesn't? You? I don't know. I don't. Maybe with your friends like this, but you don't show up with ego.
I don't. I mean,
You're very teachable, but you don't show up like, eh. Yeah, you never do that. You never argue with me, and I like a little argument. Fight with me a little bit. Prove it.
I see it. Prove me wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I
I
tell my
guess-
clients a lot. Fight me.
Yeah.
Show me how you're right.
Because I remember this time where you say, "So what do you think about it?" And like, "Are you gonna do it, Charles?" I'm like, "Well, I don't want to, but I'm just gonna do it. Like, I'm not gonna fight it. I'm just gonna go ahead and see because I know that I don't know what I don't know. So if you're gonna coach me, I'm gonna go ahead and be open to it because what happened if I learn something new? And then when I do go learn it, and it's either you're wrong and my way was right already.
But I don't think that when you get to a certain point, you never stop learning. Because you might know something that is right for right now, but somebody could come along and give you a fact that is very different from yours, and that could change everything. So you have to be open to the fact that, hey, you could be wrong.
Yeah.
You know,
All the
it's
time.
not the fact that you're
All
right.
the
Yeah, you might be
time.
right, but if that person and if you're open to what they're saying, it could change, and that's how you progress forward.
Yeah. And for me, like, that's why I live in a gray where, like, sometimes it does take me a while to make a decision because I'm like, oh, these facts are great. And then when somebody shows me the opposite facts of other things, I'm like, huh, this makes sense too. And what's the other ones? So I'm just going back and forth, and I never really pick a side just because I'm like, hey, I agree with this, and I agree with this.
That peacemaker part
Yeah,
of you
so
comes out.
there's some part of this I don't believe, some part of this I don't believe, but there's in here's the truth somewhere. And I know it's not on the edge of the black and white.
Well, and you're not provocative.
How you mean?
You don't provoke anybody to anything. That's why I say you're.
I like her.
What you talking about? I'm not provocative.
No, you don't. What I mean is, you're not going to push anybody
That
over
sounds like
their
that. What do you
edge.
mean?
Yeah,
It's just the word.
Provocative.
but you're not going to provoke anybody to jump the edge.
Yeah.
You're going to save everybody from the edges. That's the peacemaker in you, is you're pulling everyone toward the center as best you can. That's the gift you bring, right? So it's okay that you take a little more time and you process things. And I think that's really good as a leader, Charles, to see all the sides. Not everybody does,
Yeah.
right?
And what was my Briar's Mick? I think I was a campaigner. So I
could see that.
Complete
Why you
sense.
asking me? I don't remember.
Bro, you remember everything. Don't act like you don't know.
I do. Yeah, you are a campaigner.
What was yours? Do you remember?
He remember the letters.
I'm a debater. I'm an ENTP.
Yeah.
Tough guy.
Kind of.
You know a lot.
But an ENTP.
I think you're also on the. Do you guys know the Enneagram?
What's
I think
that?
you're an Enneagram.
What is that?
It's another. I guess personality type.
When we did
Some of
that
these
thing,
things.
Charles said, was it? Mine was like black and white?
The disc or which one?
I don't know. You said something, it was like way off.
Oh, it's the
The
disc.
disc, I
yes,
bet.
yes.
The disc?
It's
You're a high D.
high D and a high
High
C.
C. I can already tell you what you
Yes.
are.
High D, high C?
High C.
Yes.
Very driven,
what does that
highly
mean?
analytical. Low a stability, and it's not stability really, but like you're not necessarily the nurturer of the relationship.
Oh no.
Right. That's okay. You stay in your strengths.
Yes.
Right.
Because
But know your weaknesses as well.
Yes.
because
I do know my weakness, and I do know that okay, I can't do that. So you have to find somebody else to fill that
Fill in
in.
the gap.
Yeah, fill in the
right.
gap.
And also your relationship should know that.
Yes. Yes.
Like I'm not so nurturing. Maybe you're
Yeah,
not.
you know.
Are you that
They
physical
know.
affection is?
I do with the people
Wait
closest
though.
to me.
Wait a minute.
With the people close to me, but I don't show it to everyone.
We did talk about
Yes.
you have 1.5 hour sex.
We bring this up again.
yes.
So the S comes out in the bedroom.
I think that's more of a control thing, though. Like, yeah, I'm making you feel good, you know?
That's awesome. That's awesome. So yeah, but no, it's self-awareness literally is everything. If you can tell your people, this is kind of how I am. I'm not trying to hurt you.
Yeah.
It's kind of how I'm built, and
Yeah.
I'm willing to change it and make
Yeah.
up for things where
Yes.
my strengths are not here. I will make up for it. I promise.
Yeah, if I don't know how to do it, I'll tell you I don't know how to do it. You know?
Right.
So I'm more upfront about these things. And hey, well, I don't know. Got to ask somebody else, you know?
So
Yeah.
with the analytic part, because when I brought up Myers-Briggs and the disc, he didn't know about it yet, and I know some of it. And I was telling him about it, and then by the time we came did the session, he did a whole study and research. Of
course he did.
And we came
He
in
knew more than you did.
way more.
Of course he did.
And I was like, bro, what are you doing? It's supposed to be fun. You're not supposed to be correcting me. What the fuck?
Yes, he is. That's
I
his
want to
job.
know. I
He
want to
wants
know what
know.
you know because you brought it up. So I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I want to poke holes in your
Yes.
in your argument, right? See if
It
you
was
You're a
no
lot like
argument.
me.
yeah,
You're a lot like
see if you are strong in your conviction.
No, there was no
Ooh, it's gonna
argument.
tear you- That's what I do. We're a lot alike.
Yeah, but to me, it was no
I like
argument.
you already.
I'm just telling you what my test results were. And
And we're gonna tear you down.
yeah, what-
Yeah, but you know, for me, like I'm more
funny.
like, okay, yeah, if you say you believe something, I want to know how strong that belief is.
Why?
I want to know if you're
Why?
because it makes you more true and authentic, right? So that I'm like, okay, I could trust this person, right? Because this person is true to himself.
yes.
Because that's how I am, right? Because if I'm true to myself, that means I want to surround myself with people that are true to themselves.
Absolutely.
So that's how I take it
Because you show up that way,
because I show up
Yes.
that way.
and you know when you're not.
Exactly, and I tell them, hey, I can't go today because I'm not myself.
That's
so
really
that's
good.
how I am, you know.
That's really good.
hope
You're
so.
honest about it. I've gotten better, and
Oh,
obviously,
my dark
I
side. You don't say. What in the hell?
I don't know what you said, but it sounds provocative.
Oh, it's so provocative. You guys do have you do have a provocative podcast. I saw your post today
Which one?
talking about trans athletes.
Oh,
That
that was
was a
yeah.
lucky.
provocative post.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's
And I
a
love the
protagonist.
conversation that you have. You guys are very good about bringing in all of the voices, and I really appreciate that. I think you're doing a really good thing here.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we are looking for somebody that's, has an, well, not just an opinion, but like a lifestyle that, could talk about that too, about the transgender community and
Okay. I might
all
have
that
some
stuff.
sources for you.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Because we want to know their side too.
Yeah. Let's
is
get
what I
back
love
to
about
you.
Yes.
Excuse me. In your journey throughout life and stuff, have you faced any challenges that you couldn't overcome with any client? That you're like, you know what, this client, man, this is so difficult. Besides
Yes.
Charles,
I was gonna say, she might point at me again.
I have.
and how did you overcome that? Like, did you have to kind of
Usually
go
the
through?
relationship dwindles and ends. And it's not, I've not ended any relationships bad. Thank goodness. I can say that. None of my client relationships have ended badly. I think some of them have been more temporary because we realize, because I'm like, oh, you want to work with me? That means you really want to work. Some people don't. And I'm going to push them because that's what I get paid to do. What do you do this week? Like, right, I'm going to hold you accountable. And sometimes they start to not like that. And so it's been like, I've noticed, and I'll usually be the one to bring it up because I'm going to lead it. I'm going to say, hey, I've noticed, like, you're not really doing your homework. What's going on? Like, how are you feeling about this coaching relationship? I can't keep up. And I usually offer a break. Let's take a few weeks. And then when we come back, I usually say, do you want to continue coaching? That's how it goes. Because I can tell when people are like, I just can't. They weren't quite right, maybe ready, wrong timing, that kind of thing. But it's never been it's never been a relationship like personality friction. I've had people reach out to me that I know almost immediately it's not a fit, and I don't offer my services. They'll ask for a proposal and I won't send one. I'll just tell them my book's full. Because I can kind of tell.
Yeah.
I kind of,
If they're just kind of fishing or whatever it
yeah,
is.
or they
huh?
want to try to boss me around on the first phone call. No,
Oh.
no thanks.
Yeah.
Like, I know that I can't have a position of authority in your life if you're going to come at me in that way. I need to have, you need to give me that seat.
Some form of control, huh?
Well, you have to give me the seat,
Yeah.
not control. But the willingness to say, you're an equal seat with me, say what you need to say. But that creates, that requires humility and no ego.
Right.
You have to be coachable.
You have to be coachable or coaching does not work. You have to be the one to say, look at me and point it out.
But you also
That
got
takes
to
a
be
big
able
person.
to admit your flaws too, right?
You do.
Yeah, you'd be
Otherwise,
able to
why
say,
be
"Hey."
in coaching?
Right.
You probably won't achieve very much.
Right.
I think people who pursue coaching do have usually a growth mindset. Usually.
Yes.
Or I find it's just I want to make more money. And that's not my approach. And so I have told people in the past, hey, you and I are not a fit for each other because, like, you want somebody who's going to, like, slap you with a whip. Some people really like a hard coach. Right? Right?
Yeah.
Some people like a really hard coach. I think
tough.
you and I have talked about that before. And you and I have had this conversation. Like, I need a tough coach. I'm like, oh, it's really hard for me to be tough. I want to nurture you. I want to help you be very alive and, like, work on the ugly, the dark side.
The dark side, right.
Rather than just, I'm going to beat you into submission. It's not my style. But some people do respond to that.
You want to be a mother figure, not a father figure.
I don't know if that's it. I don't even know if that's it. I think more of a older sister. Both of you. Oh, okay. Yes.
What's the plan for the future? I mean, is this something you see yourself pursuing, getting out of real estate and just doing coaching, or you're going in tandem with one another?
That's a good question. I've really been processing a lot of who do I want to be now, because we talked about earlier, my whole life fell apart and my entire self, like, understanding of who if you can lie for 50 years and then everything is a lie, then I'm a lie. Who am I?
Powerful.
That's catastrophic.
Powerful.
Because you have no sense of self. I've had to rebuild from, I don't even know who I am anymore. Because my whole life, I mean, I was with him since I've known him since 18 years old.
Yeah.
And so it was tough to figure, I had to figure out who I am first. Now I'm in the stage of, like, I think I'm still working on who I am. Now it's what do I want to be? What do I want to do? And this is one thing. So I really do appreciate the opportunity to come and even share with you guys. Because I do want to share my story of trauma and grief. Because I don't think that people understand grief. And so there's part of me that really wants to share that. And I've done a little bit on my social media, but haven't been there yet to share. I'm the healthiest that I've been yet today. Right. To be able to come and sit here and share and not be sobbing is like a big deal, right?
Pretty good.
Yeah, thank you. So I do want to still incorporate. I think that my trauma has made my coaching business and made me a better coach. And so I do want to I do love one-on-one coaching. But I also have some goals that I'm working on. I'm working on a website to do some just real estate, some just like basically skills, stuff like that for new real estate agents, just to help them get going. That's a whole different thing. But I do think I have a message to share. I don't know how. I've thought about writing a book, considered doing my own podcast, just talking about, because divorce, marriage, all of that stuff, parenting, it's all difficult. My situation happens to be unique, but not as unique as you might think. So, yeah.
So podcast or book first?
Probably podcast.
Podcast first?
Probably podcast. Although I probably have a whole book of journal.
You can have
journaling.
AI write you a book.
Yes,
I
I was
mean,
going to get there.
I wonder what AI might say if I
I need
you have to
AI. I
test that
need
for
you to
me.
write a book on.
What happens if your husband's gay? What do you do if your husband's gay? So,
That's a great title to a book.
yeah, believe me, there's already a
is.
couple books out about it, but that's why I want
But
to
not
share my
that
story.
title, right?
Maybe not that exact title. But
I think that
there's a
was
few.
gonna hit.
There-
That was gonna hit. Straight to the point. You know?
I'm glad we got back to that topic
Yeah.
because I still had questions.
Oh,
Okay.
ask me some questions.
Sorry,
I don't know.
sorry.
How are we on time?
No,
Are we
because
okay?
I think we're fine on time.
You guys are the bosses.
And,
I'm here for it. I'm just here for it.
So, when you said he didn't knew he was gay, he discovered he was gay.
No.
So,
Let me explain what I mean when I say discovery versus disclosure.
okay, go ahead.
Discovery is when someone else finds out about you. Disclosure is when you tell everyone about yourself. It's a
okay.
difference.
So you discovered that he was
I
gay.
discovered. He did not disclose. Okay. He did not come forward and say, by the way, I'm gay.
In the process.
No. Oh, God. No.
Yeah, I was like,
you know what?
I was thinking in my
Great
head. I was like,
question. No. And I
Are
don't
we
know how
going
much
there?
detail I should say, but it was electronic. Like it was on his device and
Mm.
I discovered that. And so, no, but it took him 4 days to finally, for him to disclose the truth. 4 days later, he came and
must be
said,
hard
I
for
am
him,
gay.
too. Yeah,
It
that
was
must be
really
hard
hard.
for him.
And I do have compassion for him. I've been through every emotion. I wanted him to die for a long time, I'll be honest. My whole life was with him, right? So
Your
the pain
identity
was,
was with him,
my
basically.
entire, and also he used to be a pastor. And so I was a pastor's wife. Like it's a whole thing. It was a
wow.
whole thing. He was a pastor
Yeah.
for 20 years. Yeah.
so
There's that.
like, what?
Okay.
it's not just a book; it's a movie.
I know.
This is a
It's
movie.
epic. But you know what, though, guys? You'll see now after we're having this discussion in a lot of TV shows, movies, it's a common theme you'll see now. Now that you know somebody, you'll see it all the time. It's literally in every movie, in every show of like, oh, he was gay. He left his wife. Yeah. So I forgot what your original question was, Charles. But discovery and disclosure.
yeah.
So it was discovered, and then it took him 4 days to kind of finally say, I'm gay. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, gosh.
No clue whatsoever.
Yeah.
Great question. Okay. The best way I can describe this is that I suspected. I did ask him 2 times in the course of our marriage. And both times it was, how dare you? Absolutely not. You're awful for saying that. And the gaslighting was terrible. I did suspect it, but I didn't know. And that's the
Wasn't
thing.
for sure.
You got to say, no one can say their sexuality except the individual.
Yes.
Yeah.
So other people were like, oh, I'm not surprised at all. And I'm like, there's the door, get out. Like, that doesn't help me.
Yeah.
You suspected, but you did not know because he did not fully,
Except
he never came out.
Yeah.
He's the one who says he's gay, right?
Yeah.
I couldn't say. I did suspect, but I wasn't sure. And so when it was true, I'm like, it rocked my whole brain. I was mind fucked for sure. I was all, wait, all the years of gaslighting of like, no, that's not, there was never any, even nothing to say like, yeah, I kind of have feelings, nothing.
Yeah.
So it was tough. It was hard for me to accept.
Dang, that's crazy.
And it's not like, I guess like a marriage where there's a husband and a wife and that somebody says, I don't want to be in the marriage anymore, and they go with another partner of the same sex or opposite sex. People have often said, well, at least it wasn't with a woman. And I think
how's that any better? How's that any
a
better
lot of
at
people
all?
have said that. A lot of
Really?
people are like, oh, at least he's gay. It's not about you. And
Even
well,
if it was a woman,
gotta
it's not
say-
about you.
Thank you, Charles. Let that one sit in because people have said that to me, and I think that's taken me. I'm still doing work on that where I took it as I'm a rejected because I'm a woman. Like who I am is not
I
good
see, I
enough.
see.
Yeah.
Being
Like,
a woman is not good enough for
Being
you.
like just being me is not what you want, and that to me was devastating because it just felt like it was the biggest betrayal of a lifetime.
I mean,
I feel so stupid, to be honest with you. And you know, I've learned too. Like, I'm not stupid for trusting someone and loving someone and
You should
believing
just be
them.
upfront. You know what I mean? If everyone's upfront with one another, we wouldn't have issue. Thank you. You know, it's like
This
hey,
is where
you
I'm
know
at now with telling people.
Yeah.
If you've got issues in your marriage, say something.
Yeah, say something.
If you
Because
feel something's wrong, it's probably
if
wrong.
you're waiting for that other person to change, they ain't gonna change.
yes.
They're
You have
probably
to.
not. And-
Yeah, they probably
yeah.
don't know. You know.
And if you sense something's going on, if it's just a gut feeling, say something.
A woman's intuition is always right.
Maybe not
Yeah.
always, but there might be something there that
Yeah.
is not being acknowledged, and you might save yourself some years.
It's a tough conversation that a lot of people that don't like having.
You know, my dad always told me, right? When you're in a marriage, you're only allotted so much time with each other. It doesn't last forever. He said if the heaven said you're supposed to be with this person for 10 years and you try to prolong it past that 10 years, the universe is going to send problems after problems after problems because it's telling you that you need to go. Your time is up with that person. And people hang on too much because that's their identity, right? They say, hey, this is part of my life. I can't let go.
And I used to be a person, of course, coming from the Christian church as the pastor's wife, who, like, my husband and I used to say, we don't believe in divorce. We're never going to get divorced. We're going to work through it. Da, da, da. Well, my mind has changed because I do see people suffering in marriage, and I do believe in trying to square away your differences because I think we can, but I don't think you always can. And I also believe in...
But that's okay.
And
as
I
long
think
as you
it's
not
totally
acknowledge it, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Come to terms. Come to terms with it. And don't... What I don't appreciate is that the shame is put on people that things aren't working out. Do you think that that's what they want?
Yeah.
No. Of course they would want it to work out. But then we put more shame on them. Like, why can't you work
Society.
it out? Did you go to therapy?
Yeah.
Like, it's none of your business. Of like, we don't know what's
Did you go
going
see
on.
Analise? You need to go see her.
Right? I don't think I can advise on relationships.
Well, if Lucky was here, he can.
Yeah.
Yeah, where is he tonight?
He's on his way back
Yeah,
from
he's on his way
Mexico.
back.
Oh, is he?
We were hoping that
I
he'll
was
make
gonna
it
say,
back
he's got
anytime.
Popped
clients,
in,
maybe.
but apparently he's not.
Oh, I'm sorry to have
gonna
missed him.
make it.
Well,
But,
we
yeah.
definitely got to bring you back to make sure that he's here to see if he's
What a real life coach is.
Yes.
Oh, I
because-
would love to talk with him
Because
because
he
I
always
can learn
tell us,
so much.
I have a master's in therapy.
Oh, does he?
I have a master in this.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, he'll probably
this.
think I'm so crazy and stupid.
No.
I'm sure he'll be like, "What are you doing?" Ruining
Actually,
li-
you're on the
You're
same
ruining
wavelength as
lives."
me. It's like, oh yeah, we could gang up on him.
Lucky's no better than me.
Hey, no one's better than anyone else.
No, I'm talking about like as far as the way we think and the way we act. So he's only like a step closer to Toby than I am.
Yeah, actually,
In
it
that
is.
he's very open.
Not open. He's more grounded.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a little more grounded than Charles is.
Yeah.
Charles, he's not as grounded as he should be, but we need somebody
Heads in
like
the
him.
clouds.
We
Yeah,
need
it's
to
in the
have
clouds.
fun, don't we?
Yeah, we need somebody
Charles
that-
to make us up.
that
Hey,
has that
Charles
vision.
got me here.
Yeah.
He said, "Just do it," and I was like nervous. I've never told
Yeah,
my
he texts,
story
hey, I'm going to
publicly.
bring this. Okay, yeah, she cool. Yeah, she cool. All right, bring her.
Aw, thanks,
know,
Charles.
so-
I do appreciate you thinking of me. But you got me here because you
Yes.
take action, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna live like Charles and just do it.
Yes.
So I'm learning from you. I do learn from you. I appreciate it.
I remember one time when we were doing a coaching session and we were doing a group coaching, and you said, "Okay, let's do an exercise of dreaming." I go,
Yeah, I
that's
remember that day.
my realm."
And I had a hard time.
Yes,
Remember?
and everybody did. Whereas
Yeah.
I was just like writing things down so easily, and then I didn't realize how hard it is for people to dream.
Right. This is a big subject. It's a big subject. It really is hard. It's hard for people to have hope. But when they've had maybe so many struggles, they don't expect anything good. And I've learned that lesson that, you know what, I expect everything good.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I've
you
had
should
to get
always-
there.
You should always hope for the best, right? But prepare for the worst.
Amen.
You know,
Yeah.
that's
It
my
was
mentality.
like bad things are going to happen. Death's going to happen, right? Relationships are going to end.
What Sun
Nothing's
Tzu,
forever.
Sun Tzu said, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. Sun Tzu said
Oh,
that.
I love
So,
that.
I try to live my life that way.
I thought that was Lil Wayne.
Was it Lil Wayne?
No,
No, that was Drake.
somebody.
Funny. That's funny. I love that.
Yeah. Anyway, we're running up on time. So,
Yeah.
how do you want to end this? Any advice you could give to people that is going through challenges, difficulties? I mean, what mindset?
Oh, I would love to share a little bit, if I can, just about some things that
all
helped
yours.
me. I
Yes.
think journaling. I do talk about self-care. If you're going through like some real grief and not knowing, like you feel stuck, I start with take care of yourself like you're a baby, which is water, bathe, eat, sleep.
No sex?
Sometimes you can't. If you're in that bad space. But some people can, and if you feel like you need that affection, yes. Whatever helps you feel peaceful inside, I think. So I think starting, like if you're at rock bottom, take care of yourself like you're a baby. And then start from there. Because those are the life-sustaining things, right?
Yes.
And if you can go to work, I say, try. If you have a flexible work schedule, take time off for yourself to grieve if you're going through grief. People don't know how to grieve. And I think taking time off, being alone, really does help.
Solitude.
Everyone grieves differently.
Yes.
And don't have expectations on other people. Because let's say you have someone in your family die, everyone's going to deal with it differently.
Yeah.
And you don't want to push your way
Yes.
onto theirs,
Yes.
right? So taking time to be with yourself, journaling, I think is really good. Lots of sleep. Really, though, sleep is what's going to give you actually rejuvenative sleep, I guess. Eating healthier, going for walks, getting sunshine is a big one. I'm a big on my sunshine kick right now. Morning sun is best, even if you're just outside it for 10 minutes, just sit there. If you can, take your shoes off and put your foot in the dirt.
Grounding.
Right? You know what I'm talking
Wow,
about.
she's very good.
I learn.
I need to
I'm
do
like you.
that.
I want to know
Yeah.
how to heal, right? So if you were, the way I like to try to tell people is like, it's almost like I got ran over by a train 2 times in a row, real fast. And what would happen to me if that really happened? I would be in the hospital for a long time
Yes.
if I survived. And okay, now I'm in intensive care for a while, which means, because I really was in bed for 6 months. If I wasn't working, if I wasn't trying to get groceries, but I did have door delivery for groceries, right? If I wasn't with my family processing the grief of my brother or working with my clients, I was in bed. And I had little capacity for anything else. And I allowed myself time to really focus on healing. And I didn't try to rush my healing process because it's linear. You cannot rush healing and you cannot rush grieving. So I guess I want to educate people on that take time. It's okay. You'll come out of it. You'll survive. And get support. Get services if you need them. And if you need mental health services, and there's stuff through, I know Medi-Cal, you can get services if you need therapy. I'm a huge therapy advocate. I think everybody could use a little bit of it. But ask for help. Ask people for help. And I guess I would say for people who you have somebody in your life who's grieving or going through a hard time, you don't have to fix anything. You don't have to have answers. All you need to say is, I'm here for you.
Yes.
And really be there.
Yeah.
And really be there. You don't have to fix it. We feel that need. I don't know what to say. When you don't know what to say, here's what you say. Ready? I don't know what to say.
But I'm here.
Yes.
But here I am. And I'll get you some water. Do you want to watch a movie? Do you need a nap? Let me wash your dishes for you. I brought you some flowers. Yeah. So just take care of the people in your life and take care of yourself the most. People don't do that. So that's my advice.
Man, I felt my heart feel warm right there.
I told you I'm here to give you love and kindness.
So Analise is our business coach, mindset coach, but she's a little bit more than that in the sense of she could be your life coach too. So if you're looking for somebody to coach you and help you go through tough times, how could people reach out to you?
Probably Instagram is the best way right now. I don't know. Can you guys tag it on there?
Yes, we could tag it on
It's
there.
@_sugar__sugar_. It's a
That's a
stupid
lot of
tag.
underscore.
I had to work it around because everybody had that name. But my other one, my business one, is at Analise Elizondo. And you can just DM me. It's probably the fastest way right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you guys. This
welcome.
has been amazing, and I love talking, get to know you both.
No, thank you for
And,
coming, and sharing your wisdom with the audience and mindset and, letting people know that it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to not be okay.
Right.
And I think that you will come out more respected in the end by having dealt with your stuff and being more of a human. People will respect you more.
Yes.
Don't
Yes.
deny it, right?
You're living a human experience, people. Don't deny
Yeah,
yourself.
be a human.
Be a human.
You are
That's
one.
right.
Be yourself.
All right, guys, that's all the time that we have. So thank you for listening, tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us, and also go to Annalise's page. Give her a like, subscribe, follow her. If you have any question,
Yeah,
Thank
they
you
need
so
money
much.
to do
All right,
that.
thank you guys.
All right, guys.
See you guys next
See you
time.
later. Comment, donation.
Send them money. They're doing
Send
a
us
really
money.
good. They need money to keep this
money.
going. I'll promote you. They
I
need
need money
money
by
to keep this going.
alcohol.
You guys
Yes.
are making a difference in your community.